Here's the setup I had for the Somua SM. Not typical for a tank that I own, but on a rental I had vertical stabilizer sitting around the garage and some binos, and it's an autoloader, so you don't get to put a rammer in it, and I wasn't going to pay for a gun laying drive or anything else like that for a rental tank. Did put coffee in it, however, so it's consumed per game, and let's see how this thing does. Hey there, tankers, Seattle Forge here, and part of the Halloween event, I played the Halloween event until I got the full package that was cheaper than premium to boost my premium and any reserves I might have, and then I picked it up pretty cheap. And then I got the Twitch Prime package where we got the Somua as a rental. So I thought I'd roll this out, and I just showed you my setup briefly. But a couple things to note. I did not load any premium rounds. I did not put in... I have vertical stabilizers with binos. Don't have optics, don't have vents, don't have any of that stuff. I didn't put anything in that I didn't already have sitting in the garage. And I thought I'd roll this thing out. No camo. And we are on, as you can see, Moravanka. And I'm going to take up more of a rear position. So this tank, I have the Lorraine 40T, which I really like. Lorraine 40T has a similar reload, but only has 4 shells. The Heavy has 5. And I don't know if there's something in the soft stats, and it's only one game, right, bias, but the gun handling seems sharper on this tank. So let's just see what it can do here. And I'm playing it at range as a bit of a sniper. 300 alpha average roll, and it's got 5 clips in the magazine. That can be pretty devastating. The turret on this thing is not tough. Might get an occasional bounce. By the way, I'm rolling at I think 515 view range, so obviously it only maxes at 445, but it can diminish camo on the enemy team. But I'm shooting through bushes here mostly, and I can't believe that went through on that Patriot turret there, so that was some magic. For this T-34B to come up a little more and take a hit on him and get a low roll. But the handling on this thing feels pretty nice, and the penetration, let's just take a look again just to make sure I get the number right. Penetration is 232 on its standard rounds. That's alright. That's pretty okay. Pretty solid for a Tier 8 Heavy, I would think. Certainly if it was Soviet I'd have a lot less, but we get a lot more luck. And I'm not spotted here, even though I don't have camo. I guess I'm just far back enough. I'm using the crew that I have in my AMX 50-120 Tier 9 French heavy tank that I never play. Never play it. It just doesn't suit the current meta whatsoever. But you can see I'm pretty reliably sinking shots where I put them. And then the fun police come in. No fun allowed. There's a stealth Somua SM on the enemy team who's flanking me. The hull armor on this is really tough from the front. It's cheese from the side. Very American. I got 1 shell left in the can. You're going to see what I do with it. So what I say about this tank, I really like the gun. I really like the gun. A lot of French guns don't handle well. They hit hard. They're nice that way. The autoloader does mean that you spend a lot of time running. And of course, the defender is facing off against a bunch of enemies, but he takes a shot at me. Fair enough. French tank with his ass hanging out there. Shoot him up the ass! As Klaus Kellerman would say. But... yeah, we're going to lose this one. We're already down 4-0. I haven't taken out a tank. I've taken shots of opportunity. I'm up to almost 2,100 damage. All Tier 8 match. That also could be why, I'm getting some penetration. But I'm shooting at some pretty dodgy shots. The T-34B has a hell of a strong turret. Not from the side, but it was angled. It's not always so easy to pen. And I'm like focused on who's going to come out of the forest and not paying as great a job to the mediums that are on my right, thinking improperly that they're being handled by the 112 and really hoping, and I know it's a Somua I want to shoot. I really know that. I get it. If I look over here, I'm like, you should be concerned about those 2 tanks, 4G. And I finally am. And the Object 416 charges. And we're able to take him down with no problem. Super Pershing, we're trading. I'll make that trade all day long. Got 2 shells in the can. This 5-shell magazine is actually really nice. It's especially since it's the same reload that you have with the Lorraine 40T. I still prefer the Lorraine 40T for the mobility. This thing is pretty slow. The armor on the hull does work. It can bait. You definitely see that. The turret armor is cheese. You should be used to that on French tanks, but because of the lack of speed, it's hard to get that turret out of the way if you need to. But the gun handling on this feels really good. I'm not going to buy it. I still prefer the 40T because of the mobility, even though it's made of cheese and so on and has one less shell in the can. And the gun handling, I didn't do like a one-to-one comparo, but the gun handling feels less good than the Somua. But with the armor, you should get something like that where you can... Oh, man, I don't know. I'm not buying it. Not doing it. I have a 40T. And the 5120 is a line that I'm not really pursuing anymore, so I don't really need a skill trainer for that line. And the crew is fine. They did a great job here with the minimum of equipment that I put in there. And I'll have to remember to scrape that stuff out before the rental's over. But anyway, that's my first impressions of the Somua 40T. Here come the post-game battle results. Thanks for watching. Fairly interesting that the win 8 was half decent, nearly 3k damage and 1500 assistance. There's no badge whatsoever, not even a third class on this, but I guess you have a lot of really good players who are trying it out as part of the reward, Twitch Prime reward, and making it much more competitive. Top on damage for both teams, but outplayed. Certainly get the highest experience because I'm on the losing side. They did have many players who contributed more. Certainly we had more players that did nothing. But that's the way it rolls in these types of games. It was an all tier 8 match. Tough to knock out some experience, especially if you don't get the win. Now, I do have the Halloween event booster going, but no reserves going. I fired no premium ammunition, didn't even load any, and this thing came out with 112,340 credits. So this thing is a pretty good credit earner, and I wasn't shooting at higher tier tanks. They were all same tier, tier 8. So that's actually one of the benefits of this tank. And 13 shots fired, 13 direct hits, 10 penetrations. I didn't use any premium rounds. That's pretty nice, and I found the handling to be pretty great. Certainly, I think the extra assistance was from the fact that I had binos and found that bush on this particular map. I don't expect to see that all the time. But, you know, not a bad credit earner. This tank felt pretty nice. Anyway, have a great one. Hit like and subscribe if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you soon.